I've got the 30 hottest prospects from the MLB this week. Stay tuned. What's up, everybody? Kyle here at Let's Talk Wax with Prospect Hot Sheet Week 6. So this is a fun series I've been doing where I break down the hottest players from minor league baseball for each given week. And we are to week 6. But if you guys enjoy this content, if you enjoy Bowman baseball cards, Top Rookie cards, all that good stuff and prospects, subscribe to my channel. I'm trying to reach a goal of 5,000 subscribers. I'm up to 4,500 right now, and I'm really excited about that. So thank you guys that support me currently. If you guys want to find some of my exclusive content, I have a ton of stuff over on Patreon. I've got my 16-page breakdown from 2022 Bowman that I use to cheat a little bit on my breaks. And I've got breakdowns that go for every release all the way back to 2019. I've got a top 100 Bowman Chrome Autos list and a top 100 Bowman Chrome Autos under $50 list. So if that's something you think you're interested in, it's only $5 a month. Head over to my Patreon and check that out. I'll put a link to it in the description. But without further ado, let's jump into our top 30 from this week. All right, guys, so I'm going to jump right into this. Now, I'm really going to try to prevent myself from rambling on. I'm trying to keep these videos to around the 10 to 15 minute mark, and I'm not doing a very good job of that lately. So in the green, you can see all the players' current stats, their name, their organization, their age, their level, and their position. And the purple is going to be their line from the past week. The yellow indicates their season average. So you can see where they are performing throughout the season as well as what they did in the past week. So it's easy to distinguish between like a hot streak and a guy who's just really good. And the blue column, we have current eBay comps for these cards. So we're going to start off with 11 through 15 with Alexander Ramirez for the New York Mets. Not to be confused with Alexander Ramirez from the Los Angeles Angels. So he's a 19.7-year-old short or outfielder in the in A-ball. He's 15 for 28 this week with a homer, 2 triples, 3 doubles, 5 RBIs. He's hitting .245 on the year with a 142 ISOP and a 31.3 K percentage. Now you can see I put some things in blue and red. Blue indicates that the numbers are not very good. Red indicates that the numbers are very good. So he's off to a bit of a slow start, and he will be 20 soon in about 4 months. So I hope he can pick it back up, but he's a prospect with the New York Mets right now. He does not have a first Chrome Auto, only a first Chrome prospect card in 2021 Bowman Chrome. Number 14 on our list is Jeremy De La Rosa. Now, De La Rosa had a really rough year last year. His strikeout numbers were really high. I think he was a plus 35 strikeout percentage guy. In the national system this year, he's 20.2. So he's in A-ball. He's an outfielder. He was 8 for 18 this week with 2 home runs, a triple, 2 doubles, 6 RBIs, and a stolen base. Now, on the season, he's hitting .324, which is really good. I really liked De La Rosa when 2021 Bowman released. And he was actually a more expensive prospect on the release. He was more expensive than I thought he would be. So I didn't get to buy a whole much. But his season ISOP right now is .255. And what's really spectacular is his K percentage. So he's down to 24.3. And like I said, in 2021, he was right around, I think, 35 for a yearly, for his first K percentage for the year. So he's making big strides in A-ball. He's a little old for the level, but it's nice to see him making some strides in the minor leagues right now. Number 13, we have Sherton Apostle. So this guy, I've talked with people in my Patreon group. He's got tons of tools, but he just can't make enough contact to have a lot of success at the higher levels. He's a Texas Rangers prospect. He's 23.1 years old, AAA. He plays third base. He was 7 for 15 with 2 home runs, 3 doubles, 8 RBIs, and 2 walks this week. Now he's hitting .267 on the year with a .311 ISOP, so he does have big time juice, but he's striking out almost half of his at-bats. So he's striking out 46.9%. That's just absolutely ridiculous. So this must have been the week that he made a bunch of contact, because he really did have a good week. But he's at number 13. At number 12, we have another older player, 23.7, Michael Toglia. He's a first base prospect in the Colorado Rockies organization. He was 6 for 17 with 2 homers, 2 doubles, 3 RBIs, and 3 walks this week. Now, he is also hitting .227, kind of like possibly kind of a low batting average. He's hitting .227 on the year, but his ISOP is up to .216. So he is hitting for some power. Most of his hits are extra base hits. As you can see, his batting average .227, his ISOP is .216. But he's also striking out at a pretty good clip at 39.8. So these are some pretty cheap autos, and I think a lot of it has to do with the strikeouts. And finally, At number 11, we have Leo Jimenez with the Toronto Blue Jays, age 20.9 in high A shortstop. 8 for 16 this week with a triple, a double, 3 RBIs, and 2 walks. Now he's hitting 246 on the year with a 138 ISOP, which is not great, but he's got a really good K percentage, 17.6. So right now, if I were a seller, I'd be looking to move Apostle, I'd be looking to move Togley, and I'd be looking to move Jimenez just because this may be the only time this year that we see them on this prospect hot sheet. Now, De La Rosa is probably a guy that most of you bought into at a higher price than he's worth right now around the release of 2021 Bowman. And Ramirez is also probably similar. So if I were looking to sell, I'd probably get rid of Apostle, Togley, and Jimenez right now as quick as I could while they are hot. But we're going to jump into 6 through 10. All right, kicking off the top 10, we have Grant McCray, who was a really toolsy guy that I liked out of 2019 draft. He was one of the guys that I thought was a pretty big sleeper. I don't think he has superstar potential, but I do think he has the ability to have weeks like this where he can have some ROI with his cards. Now, he's 21.4 playing an A-ball, so he's much older than the level he's supposed to be in. Those would be a good age for high A for me. But he was 13 for 29 with 2 homers, 3 doubles, 9 RBIs, and 3 stolen bases. Now, on the season, he's hitting 289 with a 250 ISOP. Now, Grant McCray was not depicted as one of those guys that was going to hit for a lot of power after the draft. He was projected as more of a bat-to-ball skills guy. But the 250 ISOP is very exciting. I don't think he's going to maintain that throughout the course of the season, but it is exciting to see that there are some power numbers coming out of his bat as he gets older and physically more developed. He's striking out 25.8% of his at-bats, which isn't too bad. Like I said, you can find him in 2019 draft for around $10. He's still kind of a sleeper buy right now. Number 9, I don't know how this guy's autos are still $5. Like, I really don't understand how Jordan Diaz is still so cheap. I've been talking about Jordan Diaz, I think 2 or 3 times on Hot Sheet, and he was one of the sleeper prospects out of 2021 Chrome, a video I did almost a year ago. He was on that list as a sleeper. Jordan Diaz is a super sleeper with the Oakland A's. He's 21.7 playing in Double-A. He's hitting 264 on the year with a 242 ISOP and a 17.2 K percentage in Double-A as a 21.7-year-old. This week he was 8 for 23. He hit 4 more homers, a double, and had 9 RBIs. So, like I said, if you can jump on Jordan Diaz, I would do it, especially if his autos stay below $10. I really feel like it's a very low risk buy and a very high ROI because there's some serious thump in his bat. He comes out of 2021 Bowman Chrome, probably one of the best products that's released in the last 2 years for me. That's just my opinion, but I really like the 2021 Bowman Chrome checklist. At number 8, we have Henry Davis. Not much we don't know, or we don't know about Henry Davis out of Louisville. He was one of the top picks last year with the Pittsburgh Pirates. 22.6 playing high A as a catcher, 7 for 17 with 2 homers, a double, 7 RBIs, 2 stolen bases. He's hitting 341 on the year with a 244 ISOP and an 18 K percentage. I don't really understand why he's still in high A, but he probably needs some development behind the plate just to get accustomed to things because he didn't really get to play much last year. So Henry Davis at number 8. Number 7 is Noah Miller. Now he is also a first Chrome only guy like Alexander Ramirez. He does not have his first Bowman auto yet. With the Minnesota Twins, he's 19.4, playing on A-ball, shortstop, 11 for 23 with a home run, a triple, 2 doubles, 5 RBIs, and 3 stolen bases. 287 on the year with a .092 ISOP, which is the lowest on this list, and a 25.9% K rate. I don't know if Miller is going to grow into a ton of power. He's about to turn 20 years old, and he hasn't broken 100 ISOP yet this year. So we'll have to keep an eye on him. He may be a hit first bat, but if the ISOP gets a little higher, I think his ROI could increase a little bit. But you can find his first Chromes for about $2 right now. At number 6 is a guy I really wanted to get on the top 5 this week, but I could not because they did a really good job in the top 5. Gunnar Henderson. Long story short, Gunnar blew up in 2020, I think. He had a great season in A-ball. He got promoted to high A. He struggled big time. People kind of thought that, the world was going to end and Gunnar Henderson was just going to, be another flop, kind of like what Luciano did, with crushing A and then struggling in high A. But he's in Double A this year. He's 20.9 years old. He's 9 for 17 with a homer, a double, 4 RBIs, and 4 stolen bases. Now, a lot of people say that he's going to play like shortstop, third base, but he's played all of his games at shortstop and DH this year. So he hasn't played any games at third base. His season average, okay, a 20.9-year-old Double A, hitting 309 with a sub 200, just below 200 ISOP, and an 18.3% K rate. So now Gunnar Henderson autos are back to the price that they were when he was crushing in A-ball. If you bought in on Gunnar when he was really struggling in high A, you made a great decision, because he's starting to climb and trend way up again. But he's a guy I've always liked out of 2019 draft. Gunnar Henderson, go check him out if you haven't heard of him. And we're going to jump into our top 5. Leading off our top 5, we have 2 Arizona Diamondbacks. One is a bit older than the other. At number 5, we have Dominic Fletcher out of 2019 Bowman draft. Now, he is a solid $5 auto guy, but what gets him in trouble is his age. I want to say he played out of Arkansas off the top of my head. He's in Double A this year. He was 8 for 18 with 5 homers and 10 RBIs. So if you're a guy that's been holding on to a lot of Dominic Fletcher, it may be a good time to try to unload some. But like I said, his prices haven't jumped yet. They're still at $5. So it's kind of a iffy buy, but I'd be a sell on Fletcher right now. He's hitting 316 on the year with a 253 ISOP and a 15.1 K percentage. And if you didn't know, they recently called Alek Thomas up to the major leagues, and I think he'll be preceded by Corbin Carroll at number 4 with the Arizona Diamondbacks. He's 21.7 in Double A. He's an outfielder, was 6 for 23, but he hit 5 home runs with Dominic Fletcher, so they're on the same team. In between the two of them, they hit 10 home runs this week in Double A. So he hit a double, 8 RBIs, 7 walks. Corbin Carroll is going to be a very solid. I think his floor is a solid big leaguer. I think his ceiling is probably an all-star caliber player. 326 on the season, 368 ISOP, 24.2 K percentage, and the whole world knows how good Corbin Carroll is. His autos are $280 right now, and he's also out of 2019 Bowman draft. So a 2020 Bowman guy, we have Lenyn Sosa with the Chicago White Sox, 22.2 in Double A. A shortstop with 11 for 26 with 2 homers, a triple, 2 doubles, and 7 RBIs. He hit 350 this season so far with a 204 ISOP and a 14.2% K rate. So he's another young guy in Double A with great K numbers, hitting for average, hitting for a little bit of power, and his autos are fresh off the press from 2022 Bowman at around $30. At number 1 and 2, we have some AAA guys. Sam Huff, who's actually had some big league experience with the Texas Rangers. He's 24.2, so he just snuck in on this list. He's a catcher. He was 5 for 15, and he hit 4 home runs this week with 8 RBIs and 2 walks. Now he's hitting 260 on the season with a 315 ISOP and a 32.5 K percentage. Sam Huff is your prototypical slugger. He's going to hit bombs. He's going to strike out a ton. And that's just the profile he's going to have. 260 I would consider a good average for a guy like Huff, but he's just your typical slugger. Number 1, we have J.J. Bleday, who has kind of teeter-tottered his whole career. He struggled in his professional debut. He got kind of hot in the Arizona Fall League this past year. And now he's kind of struggling again in AAA at the age of 24.5. He had a big week, though. It kind of pulled him up. He was 9 for 21 with 3 homers, 2 doubles, 5 RBIs, and 6 walks. So he's bringing home the number 1 spot this week. He's hitting with a 230 ISOP and a 240 average with a 23.6 K percentage. And I would really love to see Bleday take off. He actually grew up 20 minutes down the road from where I grew up as a kid in Danville, Pennsylvania. So it's cool to see somebody that close. And I'm still a big fan of Vanderbilt baseball. So I'm really rooting for Bleday. And I know a lot of guys bought in really high. He was a really high price guy on release when 2019 draft release. So hopefully he can come back and get you guys some ROI on those investments you made 2 years ago. But that's going to wrap up this week's top 15, and we're going to jump into our honorable mentions. All right, we're going to start these honorable mentions off with Roberto Campos out of 2022 Bowman. This is a guy that I kind of discovered when I was looking at Christian Santana very in-depthly. He's another big prospect coming out of the Tigers organization. He's 18 years old in A-ball. He's 8 for 22 with a homer, a triple, 2 doubles, and 5 RBIs this week. I think that's going to be a big name to come out of 2022 Bowman. Roberto Campos with the Detroit Tigers. 2019 draft guy, 24-year-old Spencer Steer in Double-A with the Minnesota Twins, was 8 for 20 with 3 homers, a double, and stolen base. Out of 2021 Bowman Chrome, Christopher Morel, 22 at Double-A with the Chicago Cubs, was 9 for 26 with 2 homers, a triple, and 5 RBIs. Diego Cartaya, 20-year-old with the Los Angeles Dodgers, I think their top catching prospect, was 8 for 22 with 2 homers, 2 doubles, 6 RBIs, and 4 walks. Bryce Ball, who was traded to the Chicago Cubs this offseason, 23 years old in Double-A, having a really good year actually, is 11-25 with a homer, 3 doubles, 7 RBIs, and 3 walks. Dylan Dingler with the Detroit Tigers. This is a guy who's been slept on, I think, his whole career. I think he's a pretty good player. He's 23 in Double-A, 10 for 22 with 4 doubles and 4 RBIs. He could be a guy that, ignites kind of the Detroit Tiger system with all the young guys. They got Torkelson up there. They got Riley Green. They got Dingler. They got a whole lot of talented guys in their farm system. So I'd look for the Tigers to be contenders in a few years for sure. Edwin Arroyo is going to repeat on this list. 18-year-old A-ball. He's got a first Chrome only. 8 for 21 with 2 homers, 2 triples, a double, and 6 RBIs. Jackson Chourio, 18-year-old out of A-ball. He's coming fresh out of 2022 Bowman with the Milwaukee Brewers, with 12 for 25 with a homer, 5 doubles, 5 RBIs, and 2 stolen bases. So there's some real big-time babies on this list. We have 3 18-year-olds on this list today. Out of 2019 draft, Matthew Lugo can't stop hitting. He's 21 in high A. He's having a lights-out year. Absolutely insane breakout year for Matthew Lugo with the Boston Red Sox. He was 7 for 17 this week with 2 more homers, 5 RBIs, and 2 stolen bases. And as I mentioned before, he is a short print redemption. So I'm sure his autos are going to expire sometime soon. And they're very hard to find because they only have like color. I think they only have like color and up. So he's a really hard auto to find. And I've talked about Lugo several times in these prospect hot sheets, and there were guys in our Discord server and on Facebook showing me their stashes of Matthew Lugo, and it was absolutely insane. There was a guy who had, I think, like 20 or 30 BGS slabs, and they were like oranges, blues. It was just crazy how much they had invested in Matthew Lugo, and he is having a breakout year. So really cool to see that. 2021 draft, 23-year-old Tanner Allen with the Miami Marlins was 7 for 16 with a home run and a double. Colt Keith, super sleeper out of 2020 draft with the Detroit Tigers. I did some work. I did some looking at Colt Keith this offseason. He was just a little bit too expensive for what he was putting out, but he is still, I think, a big sleeper prospect. He's 20 years old, playing high this year. He's 11 for 27 with a home run, 3 doubles, 4 RBIs, and 2 stolen bases. 2020 Chrome, we have Ezekiel Duran, a 22-year-old, played Double-A this year. He's traded to the Texas Rangers, obviously. This past offseason was 12 for 26 with 2 homers and 4 doubles. So we talked about Josh Smith with the Rangers at second base. We talked about Ezekiel Duran. They're just loaded on the infield in Texas. Matt Wallner, a guy who I haven't talked about for a while, is 24 and playing in Double-A out of 2019 draft with the Minnesota Twins. He was 8 for 16 this week with 2 homers, 3 doubles, and 8 RBIs. And finally, Jacob Amaya is continuing to hit. He was on our hot sheet last week, 23-year-old in Double-A out of 2020 Chrome with the Los Angeles Dodgers with 8 for 15 with a homer, a triple, 3 doubles, and 4 walks. And that's going to wrap up all 15 of our honorable mentions. All right, guys, that's going to wrap up our prospect hot sheet for week number 6. And as you always do, let me know in the comments that I missed. Let me know what guys you are chasing, or if you have big stashes of any of these guys that are hot right now. Let me know if you're buying or selling any of these guys right now. It's all cool stuff that I like to see what's going out there in the baseball community with what you guys are doing. If you enjoy my content, please subscribe. Help me reach my goal of 5,000 subscribers. I'm up to 4,500 right now. I really appreciate all you guys who support the channel, who support me in the comments. It means a lot, and it helps me to grind out the monotony of sorting through stats all the time. If you like exclusive content from me, I've got a ton of stuff over my Patreon page. It's only $5 a month. And like I said, I've got my my little 16-page breakdown of 2022 Bowman, along with breakdowns of every release since 2019. I'm in the process of updating all those right now. And I have my top 100 list over there. A lot of cool stuff on Patreon with the Discord server and everything. But thanks to all of you guys that are on my Patreon right now. And y'all take it easy. Have a great night and enjoy the hobby and prospecting.